Hello and welcome back to the Champion Draft Series. Today we've got a special guest with us, one of our contestants, Aikado. Aikado, how you doing today?
Doing well, doing well. Thanks for having me.
Really glad to have you here. Really wanted to pick your brain about your journey through the Champion Draft Series so far, as well as what you have planning for the future. So I just want to jump right into this. Now, you were the 7th pick in the draft, nearly last. What was your strategy going into this draft? How did you approach it?
A lot of it just came down to just trying to pick up the strong champions for their tier that were still available by the time it got around to me. As much as I would love to pick Nora, there was about a 0% chance that Nora was making it down to me, right? So a lot of it just came down to trying to, pick up what was available. And then after the first couple rounds, a lot of the selection just turned into, oh no, I need a region now. I need to actually go pick up these regions, which was pretty difficult. I don't think I had the best draft on the planet, but overall, I'm pretty okay. Pretty happy with it.
Yeah, I think you've got a pretty good draft. Now, like most of the players in the series right now, you're currently 2-2, but you specifically have been able to bring a variety of different archetypes to your matches. You've brought aggro, you've brought like Leona mid-range, you've brought, I believe you brought like a Nami removal deck just this past week. So you've been able to bring a lot of different archetypes. What's your mindset when you're preparing for your matches each week?
A lot of it just comes down to, trying to put myself in, the shoes of my opponent first, right? Sort of deciding, what do I think they're going to end up bringing, and then, catering my lineup to beat that. I think that one thing that's really nice about my lineup, especially like the Noxus half, is that, I can go back and forth between like, this aggro game plan or mid-range or control. There's a lot of flexibility there, which I think gives me a lot of options to, be favored and be changing my lineup. That said, I mean, even when I'm favored, I still just absolutely shit the bed and still lose. So I don't know, man. It's a toss-up. It's a toss-up.
It happens to the best of us, but yeah, you've got a lot of these really strong and flexible tools at your disposal. Speaking of which, you have 2 Ionian champs in your roster right now that have yet to make an appearance in the Champion Draft Series. Now, is this just a coincidence? Have they not met their right matchup yet? Or do you see them as like the weaker link of your roster? And if so, with this upcoming trade week, do you perchance see a way to strengthen your roster this way?
I have to see what I can do. I mean, yeah, I have Karma and Yasuo. I picked up Karma because I was like, oh, at the end of the day, if it really comes down to it, I can just, grab this super greedy value pile and it'll be okay. And I grabbed Yasuo because I had Katarina, and I'm like, okay, yeah, no, this is like fine. This is fine. But the issue is the Ionia is just like not particularly strong at the moment. We'll have to see with the balance patch and rotation, all the new cards and everything to see if things change around that. But yeah, as of right now, it just kind of hasn't really hit, the types of metas I think that I would really want to be playing those. I'd still like to, I'm down to play Karma, but it just hasn't really worked out for me yet.
Fair enough. We'll see if that changes in the future. I want to go a little bit off topic right now. I want to ask you a little bit for those who might not be frequent viewers of the Aikado stream. If you would give us a little bit of insight into your team name, Yepcroc.
Yepcroc, it came from a Renekton deck that we played once upon a time, Renekton Bard. And then it just kind of became a meme. And now we have a Renekton plush reveal point reward on the channel. So yeah, it's just it's Yepcroc. It is Yepcroc.
All right, that's good enough for me. All right, now looking towards the future, as we're halfway through the series, but we still got another half to go. You still have to play against several quite challenging opponents. You've got Spidz's variety roster. She's already played every single champion in her roster so far. She's really been flexing it up. You've got Elzon's P&Z Allegiance. I know she took a lot of P&Z champs from everybody else. And then you've got the Jin Cannon connoisseur himself in Absolution. How confident are you going into these teams?
Elzon took all the P&Z champs, by the way. I would have liked to have a second one. That would have made me happy. She took like 5. She doesn't need that many. You... Overall, I think I'll probably be fine. I haven't looked at the standings, so I don't know where each of them stand. But like in general, I think that my lineup's pretty flexible. And I think they'll probably have a pretty good shot, you know, especially if Absolution actually brings Jin Kennen. I think there's about a 0% chance I lose to that shit. So, I mean, you know, it can only be so bad, right? It can only be so bad.
Fair enough. And maybe you and Elzon can work out a little bit of a trade deal this week. Get yourself a little bit of that P&Z action there. All right, well, that pretty much wraps things up for us in this little interview here, but we here at the Champion Draft Series do keep track of a lot of data and statistics throughout the series, and I've been asking all of these interviewees a bit of trivia about their current performance, and I want to see if you can guess this correctly. So, out of the champions in your roster, which one do you think has died the most?
Has died the most. So I would have had to, you know, put them in my roster and then summon them, and then they would have to die.
Yes.
It'd have to be one that I've put in my roster quite often. I don't think I've put Gangplank into my roster a lot, but I don't think I've ever summoned him. Annie, maybe. Honestly, I kind of feel like it's a Felios. But even then, I've only played a Felios like a couple times, so maybe not. Maybe it is Annie. Let's go with Annie.
That is incorrect. The actual answer is Katarina. Katarina has died 4 times in the series so far.
No. Poor Katarina. Poor Katarina.
But you have drawn a lot of Katarina. She's been drawn 10 times so far in this series, so you've had a lot of opportunities to put her on the field. Anyways, thank you so much for joining us, Aikado, and we look forward to your continued performance in the Champion Draft Series.
And thanks for having me. It's a lot of fun. I've been enjoying it.